Hello everyone, this is going to be a 160 Q&A test. Plaintiff attorney is Mr. Galloway, capital Galloway. Defense attorney is Mr. Sherman, capital Sherman. Again, plaintiff attorney Mr. Galloway, capital Galloway. Defense attorneys, Mr. Sherman, capital Sherman. And this is going to start with plaintiff attorney. Okay, ready? Then what happened next? He went to the opposite side of the truck. I pulled in, putting the forks through the two pallets. He told me when they were through, and he said they are good or something to that effect. And I said, okay, and I raised the forks. I guess you want me to go ahead and explain what I did, or do you want me to stop? Let me stop you for a second. Let me just use this for visual help here. I am going to show you another photograph, and we will mark this as Exhibit 2 to the deposition. Do you recognize what that photograph depicts? Do I recognize it? Yes, I do. All right, does that appear to be taken the day of the accident, and is that the photograph of the actual truck that you were unloading? Yes, it is. All right, and are you actually in that particular photograph? Yes, I am. Okay, and could you please point out which one is you in the photograph? I am the guy standing above the injured man. Okay, you are fairly close to the trailer? Yes, I am. That is me. It looks like you are wearing a blue shirt and jeans and boots. Is that right? Yes, I am. All right, and the person that is lying on the ground right in front of you, was that the driver of the truck? Yes, it was. And this photograph was taken shortly after the incident had occurred? Yes, it was. And the material or the pallets we see directly to the left of the driver, are those the same pallets that were depicted in Exhibit 1 that you looked at? Yes, they are. And were those pallets moved in any way prior to the photograph being taken? I don't believe so, no. All right, if you could look at the photograph, do you see where on the trailer these pallets were located when you were unloading them? Yes, I can see that. All right, and could you point that out for me? They are right behind this pallet right here. They were up against these other ones. Okay, would you just take a pen and put a P for pallets? Put a P? Sure. They were right there. And you can't recall, I take it, when you first pulled up that there may have been more pallets that you unloaded. You just can't remember. Is that true? Yes, that is true. All right, the ones that you were unloading when the incident occurred, though, they were up next to and against this set of yellow material? That is correct, yes. Okay, well, I'm just looking at where you placed the P. I need to clarify something here. Were the pallets that you were unloading, were they touching the yellow pallets, or was there a space between the pallets? Well, they were very close. I mean, they were up behind them or right behind them. All right, and the pallets that you were picking up with your forklift and that are shown over in Exhibit 1 after the accident, were those side by side on the trailer? In other words, if you were looking at the trailer, you would just see a pallet where you place the P and another one immediately as we are looking at the photograph. It would be right behind it. So it would be behind it? Yes, that is right. All right, and what you're saying is because of the positioning of the pallets, you could take your forks as you are operating the forklift and put the forks under both pallets. Is that correct? That is correct. All right. How far was the pallet closest to you, positioned on the trailer, away from the edge of the trailer? In other words, if you are standing right up next to the trailer, what was the distance between the edge of the trailer and the edge of the first pallet? I am going to say about 6 inches. So these two pallets were not positioned in the center of the trailer. I really don't know. I mean, I wasn't on the other side of it. I never got up on the actual trailer. I am going to say I don't know because I was on the side of them. They were probably not quite to the center. Do you have an estimate as to how wide the trailer bed was? I am not really familiar with that thought. Maybe it was 8 feet, but that is a guess. We don't want you to guess. You don't want a guess. Okay. But you did say that the trailer was there. We can see that in the photograph. We can see that you were there. And if you remember looking at the trailer bed and you have an estimate as to how wide it is, I want your best estimate, but I don't want you to guess. I'm sorry, but I don't know. All right, that's fair. Now, in looking at the photograph, it appears towards the front of the trailer, there is a consistent load of some type of material. It looks like it's maybe some bags of cement or rocks, I believe, is what the driver said. Do you see what I am talking about there? Yes, I do. I can see that. Okay, the pallets that the material is on. Do you see those pallets? Yes, I do. Okay, would you say those are fairly standard sized pallets? Yes, they are. Okay, and looking at the photograph, can you estimate what the dimensions of those pallets are? I know what a normal pallet is, or a normal sized pallet. What is a normal pallet? Well, approximately anyway. I am going to say about 40 inches wide by maybe 48 inches long. And when you are looking at this pallet that is on the truck, would the length be going across the actual trailer? No, it would not. Okay, so the length of these pallets, these are not square pallets then normally? No, they are not. Okay, all right. Prior to pulling in and putting your forks under the two pallets that you were offloading at the time of the accident, did you have to reposition the forks because the pallets were smaller? Yes, I had to bring them closer together. Okay, and did you do that yourself? Yes, I did. How close did you move the forks together in order to pick up these two pallets? Do you want inches? If they were separated, I want to know what the gap that was between the two forks. I'm going to estimate about 8 inches. Okay. And this test does not have a word list. We don't have any proper names. The only reminder I want to give you is when they're referring to different exhibits, like Exhibit 1, you would capitalize E on exhibit and then use the number 1. Other than that, there's really no proper names. When the court comes in and says put a P for pallets, you would enclose the P on the outside of the P with the quotations and use a capital P. But that's about it. So good luck with your 160 Q&A test.